Hi, I'm Dave Baker, and I'm here to talk to you about the amazing illustrator Emma Rios. You probably know her work from Pretty Deadly or The Amazing Spider-Man. First up, Pretty Deadly, written by Kelly Sue DeConnick, illustrated by Emma Rios. It's a western all about reincarnation and the kind of nature of reality. The book, it's absolutely lavishly illustrated, amazing breakdowns, lots of panels, which is interesting because usually westerns go for a really sparse look, you know, the kind of Sergio Leone wide landscapes, and they completely veer away from that. They put a ton of little tiny panels in and then have these big center panels that are the big vistas that you expect from a western comic. Really, really smart storytelling, both on the writing side and the artist side. It's also really cool because Emma Rios was really heavily involved in the kind of story construction of Pretty Deadly, and you can really feel that in the pages. She's not just there for a paycheck. She's not just there to like have a creator-owned book. She's really there to develop an experience, and the audience, like, you can feel it. You can feel it reading the book. Pretty Deadly is great. You should buy it. Next up, Spider-Man. Emma Rios' run on Spider-Man was a little bit short, but it's still a really great moment in the comic, I think. I think the way that she draws Superman? I'm not talking about Superman. I'm talking about Spider-Man. Spider-Man's mask is awesome, the way she draws it. I like the way she draws Spider-Man flipping through the air. I also like the fact that she draws these kind of super majestic, giant New York buildings with him swinging around and then has little tiny panels at the bottom. I love the way she kind of does little tweaks like that. I don't know if those are in the scripts or not, but they feel really organic and illustrator added. I really dug her time on Spider-Man. I wish it lasted a little longer. Wish she hadn't just been there and then gone. But hey, Emma Rios, Spider-Man. I enjoy it. Next up, the book Osborn, a miniseries written by Kelly Sue DeConnick, illustrated by Emma Rios. It's kind of like Oz. You know the TV show Oz? It's like that, but in the Marvel Universe, starring Norman Osborn. He goes to prison. He starts a gang. All the gang members start getting tattoos of Green Goblin's head right here. When you bought the book when it first came out, they gave you a press-on tattoos. I wore one all around the comic book store that I used to work at. It was a great book. It feels really gritty. Emma Rios' illustration style gets really chunky and kind of gritty. It's just you feel the people in prison. They look like dudes in prison, which is an exception to the rule of Marvel Comics, where every dude who looks in prison just looks like Kingpin. Like, every prison is just like, is a chunky guy with no hair. Chunky guy with no hair. But she drew every person in that prison extremely well. Osborn, Kelly Sue DeConnick, Emma Rios, you should read it. And finally, we have the Prophet backup that she drew. Prophet, written by Brandon Graham and illustrated by a bevy of amazing illustrators, is like Conan, but set in space with clones. Also populated by image characters that you probably knew you never cared about, like Badrock and Die Hard. I mean, it's like me and two guys in Iowa that care about Die Hard, but I really care about Die Hard. That is until you read the trade, which is also where this backup is located. It's great. It's multiple narratives that function with this prophet going on this adventure that I won't spoil so that you can read it and enjoy it, but Emma Rios wrote and drew it. It's super fun, lots of high energy, high panel rate, great exercise in visual storytelling. I love it. You should read it. I'm Dave Baker. That was my creator spotlight on Emma Rios. If you'd like to see the things I make, you can go right here to theactionhospital.com. It's a comic that's about puns and sadness and depression and maybe some drug addiction. I don't know. You'll have to read it and find out. If you'd like to subscribe, that would be wonderful. Right there. Subscribing there. Because Joe needs that money. He needs that money. I don't need that money. I have webcomics money. He needs that money. Please subscribe. Or else how am I going to talk to you about more red comics?